Hey guys, I got this new meter from Redfish Instruments. It's the iDVM510. It is Bluetooth compatible. It has an application that works on iOS or Android. I have a beta version of the iOS app. I contacted Redfish last night to get the beta version. The one they have on their app store right now is not the correct one. It's for a different meter. I have the manual also. Their manual and the new version should be ready by next week. These are available at TrueTech Tools for $149.50. They are a meter that can be used without having the app. They take a 9-volt battery. Take the screw out. This all lifts up. The battery goes in here. Has a nice magnetic strap. Has a place for your leads. Like so. The leads themselves have a screw off little protector cap. That's where you can get in deeper for different types of readings, like in a plug, a socket for instance. Then you got the protective caps when you need them, for when you don't want to short out your leads against another line, or anybody uses a meter knows what I'm talking about. You've been there, you've done that. But they're pretty protected just for pinpoint use. The leads themselves are not bad. They're about 3 foot long. When you're using them, the one thing I talked to last night to Patrick O'Hara, who is at Redfish, he's technical service. I tell him, when I first put it in there, it felt like it's seated. I thought, boy, that's chintzy. It's loose. He says, yeah. He said he's already gotten calls about that. And he says, push them in. So I pushed them in like that. So you got to make sure they're pushed in. They come with these leads. Each one has an alligator clip. And there is a threaded connection in there, so you can thread it on to that lead when you've got the protective cap off. It's not a push on, it's a thread on. And it comes with a K-type thermocouple for your temperature. You have your off. You've got everything is AC/DC as far as voltage. Micro, milliamps, and amps are all AC or DC. When you first turn it on, it's going to default to DC voltage. You have to hit the function button. Matter of fact, let's get this out of the light. There we go. It's got a robust display, big numbers. Backlight lasts for about 10 seconds when you push the button. There's no way to keep it on. It comes on, hit the function button, goes to AC. Got non-contact voltage. So when you have, let's say, just checking a line out, I've got a plug here. It's hot. When you're checking it out, it'll go off. The only thing I've had wrong with this so far is using the Hertz function. I have used it before. I used it once today at the shop, and I was getting my reading and the screen went blank. I had to turn it back off, back on, and reset it, and it came back on. But it's done it again at the house when I was here, checking it out some more. Let me take my leads off so I can get into this plug. If you're going to use AC, if you're going to use amperage, you have to buy a current transformer clamp. You've seen them. Fluke makes them for their meters, for the ones that don't have clamps on them already. Get the ones with banana plugs, because this stays here, but this one goes all the way over to here. So I'm going to use my field piece leads that have the removable end. See if I can get it off with one hand here. The ones like this. And then I'll use that for my current clamp because I bought one that has a plug like this on it. And the i400 Fluke does not have that. It has the separate banana plugs. I got the i410A that has AC and DC amp measurements. It can take both. So let's take voltage measurements. Yep, back in DC mode. I always forget that. It's one thing I don't like. It goes to DC defaulted. I might ask Redfish because they have firmware updates for these things, and it'd be nice if it would default to AC and not DC. I'll contact them tomorrow and see if I can get that taken care of. But anyway, there's your voltage. Now, the app. There it is. My Bluetooth is not on right now, so I'll hit the Bluetooth button. There it is. That went off again. There. Turn on, hit meter. Connected. Showing the voltage. 123.1. Pretty accurate. Voltage is pretty responsive to the app. And you've also got this feature. Let's say you've got your meter up on a box, you're getting your leads in there, and you don't want to put your phone in an electrical box. This is more of an industrial application. But just for that chance, you're in a tight spot and you can't get to it. The voice feature is nice.
123.0 volts. 123.0 volts. 122.9 volts.
And it'll keep repeating at whatever interval you set it. I've got it set for 3 seconds. You can set it for 5. Let me go back out of here. Let me find the settings. You got a window that comes open. Go to voice reporting. Voice interval. One-third a second, once a minute, once every 10 seconds, once every 5 seconds, once every 3 seconds. Save it up here. And then it'll do it once every 3 seconds. Meter settings, power off, timeout, minutes of inactivity until power off, 15 minutes. Register meter with Redfish. I've already registered. I'll have to try it again with the app, but it's already registered. I'm going to set that for, just for giggles, I'll set it for 60 minutes. App settings. Hide the iDVM emulator, remove the emulator from the device selection screen. iPad landscape full screen. Show only one panel in the iPad and landscape orientation. You can turn that on or off. Allow the phone display to sleep on activity. Default DC range. Starting range for DC meter modes. Full, min to max. I'm not going to change anything there. Meter selection. That's a screen that'll come up when you first connect. One iDVM found, and you hit that. Your meter will show up there. You hit that, and it'll do it. So I'm going to cancel because I've already done that. They have a meter update and they have home, If I go to meter update, it shows you that the version 1.0, the 16th version, type B, has been installed. The next type should be a type A. So if I went to type A, it tells you what it was. It's not going to let you install an older version. Recording tells you samples per how many samples a second, so like 1.5 samples a second. So we can change that to like 3 samples a second, 1.5 where it's at. Any changes you make to the logging rate or limit will not be sent to the meter until you tap save. So if I want to do 1 sample every 10 seconds, that's kind of long, unless you're I'm going to do 1 sample every 2 seconds. I found that that'll probably work pretty good. Normal start and stop recording with record button. You can do a timed recording, or you can do a tap recording. In other words, it says tap record individual samples with record button. So it's almost like a manual recording. You tap it, and it's going to record whatever it is when you're there. It'll record it as you tap it. Recorded data, this meter has 64 samples. So right now it's got 64 samples, probably just sitting here, you know, being stuck in there and showing that. I could download that. And there they are. There's my samples by just sitting here while I was doing this. And it says the meter mode is in voltage DC, start time 7:19. And that was, yeah, and it's not in voltage DC, it's in voltage AC, so that is wrong. Cancel that. I did that. I'm going to save that. The one thing I was hoping just now, maybe we could tell it what meter settings, and it doesn't allow you to do that. I was hoping it would let me default in AC or DC mode. It will not. But the app is useful. I intend to use this app specifically. Now, I know the iManifold app uses this meter as well. I'm going to go to Measurements, Electrical, connect to multimeter. I'm connected. Unable to connect. Make sure the meter is on. I will do this. Turn off the Bluetooth. Apparently it won't. There it went. All right. Turn it on. Connect. I'm connected. Took my voltage. And that saved it. Voltage L1 to ground. Now, if I disconnect it, this here, my waiting for 0, reconnect it, got its reading. You're finished. You've got your L1 to ground, L2 to ground on your single phase equipment. So it works with the iManifold app pretty good, and I don't have the current clamp to do a current reading, but just as simple. Turned off my meter, disconnected, continue. I'm not going to submit that. So my thoughts on this, it feels fairly decent. The customer service has been really good. I talked to a gentleman yesterday in technical service. It took me about 30 seconds to get a hold of the guy. I was appreciative of that. It comes in a blister package, regular old plastic package, front and back sheet. No manual. You have to download it on their site. Feels heavy. Feels solid. If you're out looking for a meter and you don't have a meter, $149 is not bad. It will do most, except for the amp clamp. You have to spend money on the amp to get the amp feature. My Fieldpiece amp clamp with a handle did not work too well with this. And I did plug it into here, and I couldn't get it to work. I think it was buggy though. It wouldn't work with my Fluke either, so there was something wrong with the handle, because the amp head was working on the stick meter, but it wouldn't work on the handle, so it was a handle issue. If you already have one, I would suggest trying it out first and see if it works. If you're going to buy one, I don't know if, without knowing that it's going to work myself, I wasn't going to chance it. I bought a Fluke version for like $120 off eBay, used, but it was in good shape. So, and no, I don't have it yet, or I'd try it out. Now this meter can be bought off of TrueTechTools.com for $149.50. You can use this coupon code RARIDVM and get $10 off. That's pretty sweet. If you take in account how much it costs for this, $149, and you need the use of a current clamp, it's going to run you another $150. So $300 for both. If you like the data logging feature, find it useful, and the voice feature, if you find that useful, this would be the way to go in my opinion. It is updatable. It has firmware. The app will update this meter. It's not like once you buy it, it's never updatable. It's updatable. There are other meters out there that have data logging and an app. The UEI makes one, and I've got one, and I'm going to be doing a video on that shortly. But this one, it has the rotary switch. The UEI has the push buttons, and my concern with the UEI is that the push buttons may rub off the graphic, the symbols that are on the buttons. Repeated pushing them on and off might cause that to wear, where the rotary switch, usually you don't have that issue. That's just one thing to point out. I pretty much like the leads are okay. They're not phenomenal. They're standard leads. You can buy leads for any meter, Fluke leads, Fieldpiece leads, and they will work on here. The fact that it's got a display that you can see and use without having to have an app is also nice. Nice display. It's not a bad meter for $149. I have a Fluke 116. It's probably comparable in cost, but it doesn't have data logging. It doesn't have the voice option with the app. It doesn't have app integration. It doesn't have the fact if I want to try to record a time period of data for, let's say, low voltage, see if I'm losing low voltage, I'm trying to record it for an hour to see if I'm dropping out, my low voltage is dropping out for whatever reason. I have no way of doing that with the Fluke. This one I do. I can record the data through the app, let it run for however long. And plus it also has a non-contact voltage detector, which is also nice if you're just trying to see if something is hot. I don't leave my life in the hands of a non-contact voltage detector, but if you're just trying to find a line maybe in a wall, sometimes this thing will help. So if you find it interesting and you've got an iManifold or iConnect, also pick one up. It's nice to have something that'll integrate it into your app and just throw it in there for you without you having to punch in all the numbers. Put your voltages on there and you've got everything set up. There you go. It's all input for you. Your electrical measurements are taken. You select it just like your humidity return and on your return air and your supply air and all that stuff that goes with those tools. You've got this added to it also. I bought this in hopes maybe in the future I might buy an iConnect and a setup, like a heat pump setup. And when I heard this was coming out, I thought I'll just go ahead and get it just in case. I might use it only for that. I may not use it until I get that. And for the price, I thought I couldn't pass it up. I mean, for me, it wasn't a big deal. Thank goodness. I was able to afford it, so I just went ahead and got it. Got it now, and as it's updated, I'll update it, and I'll have it when I can't afford the iConnect, or if I continue to want it down the road. So I hope this has been somewhat informative for you. Comment, any questions, ask me. If I know the answer, I'll definitely reply back to you. I hope this has been helpful. Y'all have a great day.